I saw some guy in a clown costume leaving here. What's that about?
Oh, Locke, you missed the show. How did you get back in here without people noticing?
It's what I do, Edgar. You should know that by now.
That clown, his name is.
Kefka. Kefka Palazza.
They both stare at Tara.
You remember him from your past, Tara?
He put the slave crown on me.
Whoa, hold up. Kefka enslaved you?
Tara nods slowly. Edgar shakes his head in disgust.
I always knew he was a creep. Never knew he was into forced slavery as well.
He had the crown on her for at least a year. She had no clue who she was when we found her, save her name. And I am surprised she remembered that.
For a year?
Edgar paces back and forth, visibly upset.
What a bastard. He forced you to be a slave for over a year? If I knew that, I would have had my guards tear him to pieces. At first, this was about trusting Locke and keeping you safe at his word. But now, it's a matter of principle. No one should ever have to suffer such indignity. This is a sanctuary for you, Tara. My men will defend you with their lives, I assure you. Locke, I hope it won't come to it, but tell her the story of the flower in the wind, please.
The castle is ready for that, Edgar? Good to hear. As for Tara, I assume she will need a room with much higher security to keep her safe. Will she be staying in your brother's room?
You guessed right. Take her there for me, Locke. Then speak to me when you've brought her there and told her the story. I would like to make sure the heat dies down before we try moving her out of here.
I'm being moved, again.
She just got here today, Edgar. Are things really that uncertain for Tara that she can't get a break?
Kefka knows she's here. No doubt about it. Not sure how he knows, but he does. If he tries something, we must make sure we are ready.
Well, good thing I fetched the extra chocobos per your orders earlier. Seems we'll be needing them soon. Come on, Tara. I'll show you to the room you can stay in.
Tara and Locke are in the bedchamber as Locke finishes telling the story.
Okay, so that is it, Tara. If I, Edgar, or any of the servants mention the flower in the wind, you know what to do, right?
Yes, of course.
Leave things to Edgar and me. We'll keep you safe.
Tara huffs in frustration.
Is something wrong?
I'm just getting tired of running. All this effort everyone is going through to protect me. Just by being here, people may potentially lose their lives. Even if I get to safety, what do? I can't remember who I am or what life I had before all of this. I just don't get why people are doing so much to help me.
Look, the Empire just threatened their alliance with Figaro just to get to you. Whatever you have or whatever skills you possess are important enough that they considered breaking the alliance worth it.
Do you know why they are seeking me?
Locke turns away and heads for the door, as if ignoring the question.
Locke.
Get some rest, Tara. I have to prepare a few things.
Locke.
Tara sits alone on the bed in the room, sighing and shaking her head. Her eyes begin to wander the room and she sees a stuffed animal Moogle on the bed.
How cute. A little stuffed Moogle. Oh, I hope I get to see a real Moogle someday. I just want to live a quiet life. Maybe just spend my days caring for animals. That would be great.
Tara hugs the Muggle tightly.
I am so tired of being this special person that the Empire keeps trying to hunt down. I bet the servants here don't have to worry about being sought out and captured. I don't want these gifts. Why was I cursed to have them? Why do I have to carry this burden?
Tara lies on the bed, tears streaming from her eyes as she begins to fall asleep. Early morning the next day. Edgar is up early, preparing for the day. He then sniffs the air, as if noticing something.
What's that? Smells like fire?
Edgar immediately rushes out of his room and makes his way to the second-story balcony of his castle. As Edgar walks onto the balcony, he looks out toward the desert and sees Magitech armors launching fireballs at the castle.
What is going on here?
Noble King Edgar, how you doing?
Is this your doing? Are you trying to start a war?
My doing? Oh, please. If you just gave me what I want, we wouldn't be in this situation, now would we? Where is the girl, Edgar?
I already gave you an answer, Kefka.
Then here is my reply to your answer. I must say, it is burning with passion. And fire. Lots of fire. So let's make a deal, King Edgar. Hand over the girl and we walk away. Alliance is saved and no further harm will come to your precious castle. But if you won't, I guess I'll start picking some of the flowers of your garden and see how many petals I have to pull out before they tell me what I want to know.
King Edgar walks toward his throne room as he meets the Chancellor at the doorway.
Chancellor, it is time for the flower in the wind.
As good a time as any, Your Majesty. Here's the mask you will need. Mind the east balcony and be careful, my king.
Of course.
The Chancellor retreats through the door, and clicks can be heard as it is locked.
Need coaching advice? I thought you were a big boy, able to make your own decisions. So, what are you going to do about this mess you got your people into? What choice will you make to save them?
I suppose the choice to make is the obvious one. Not like I have a choice in the matter.
King Edgar walks toward the east side of the balcony, looking around the castle and seeing the detachment of Imperial soldiers fighting the guards outside as Magitech armors march toward them.
You seem sure that you will win, don't you? I didn't think that the Empire would throw away such a valuable alliance over a girl. Yet, here we are, my castle being stormed by Imperial soldiers. I have to admit, this girl must be really special. I would hope to get to know this girl myself, considering that people would fight a kingdom to obtain her. She must be simply stunning in beauty. Oh, I am sorry. You said she is property in her possession belonging to the Empire. Or was she the property herself? Is she a prisoner? A slave? Or should I talk to your public relations manager?
Do you like to hear yourself talk? I got bored with listening to you ages ago. The balls of fire hitting the castle and your guards preparing to get slaughtered serves as a much better point of interest.
You may already know that there is not much water out here to put out fires. But we have something that can still aid us in the middle of a desert. Sand. Lots and lots and lots of sand.
King Edgar puts on a special mask with goggles as the castle vibrates, making a multitude of whirring sounds. Soon, it appears that sand is encircling the castle, creating a blinding sandstorm. Edgar slips into the sandstorm and disappears from sight. Kefka charges forward to grab at the king, but Edgar is already gone. The Imperial soldiers cough as they are blinded by the blowing sands, but the guards have also donned masks and retreated into the castle. After a few minutes, the artificial sandstorm dissipates. Kefka looks out toward the desert and sees 3 people escaping eastward on Chocobo. He takes out a scope and looks through it, seeing that it is Edgar, Locke, and Terra.
How delightful! A cowardly king fleeing away from his castle, leaving his servants to be abused by his enemies. Now that is quality leadership. Well, boys, let's take care of the garden he has left here. Let's go pick some flowers and see how many petals, leaves, and roots we have to trim before they tell us where the king is fleeing to.
The castle begins to shake violently as a loud, blaring alarm sounds. No guard is able to be seen outside of the castle at all. Suddenly, the voice of the Chancellor can be heard from atop the castle.
The Empire shall not lay a finger on the people of Figaro Castle.
The castle begins to sink into the sands of the desert, kicking up more sand at the surrounding Imperial forces. The Chancellor retreats into the castle, sealing the entrance tight as the castle disappears below the sands.
What? No. Stupid castle. Stupid sand-sinking castle techno garbage. Where are you, my Imperial troops?
Many of the soldiers dig themselves out, but the Magitech armor units appear to be stuck and buried in sand. Only one Magitech armor unit appears to be able to move freely.
You, Magitech unit! Chase those escapees down on Chocobo back to the east. Drag the girl back here. Kill her friends. Make her regret ever escaping from me.
Understood.
The Magitech armor unit immediately begins running at high speed toward Terra, Edgar, and Locke. In a matter of minutes, the unit closes the gap between them. The Chocobos, not being bred for combat, become terrified and shake off their riders as they flee. The Magitech armor unit then approaches Terra, Edgar, and Locke, preparing to engage them in combat.